What's up guys, welcome back to Ty's Rides. So it's been a while since I've done a bike check video, so I figured it was time to start it off. This is my 2013 Cannondale Caad10. The Cannondale aluminum frames are awesome. This is just an aluminum road bike with a carbon fork. It's a super fun bike. It's basically just stock. I've upgraded the wheels once and then had to upgrade the upgraded wheel on the rear wheel because I have serious issues when it comes to busting spokes. I picked up this bike for a really good deal off Craigslist. Some guy bought it down in downtown Kansas City, never rode it, threw it on Craigslist, and I got it for a great price. I prefer to ride gravel or mountain bikes, but sometimes that's just not feasible with the wet gravel or the muddy mountain bike trails. So I actually do ride this bike quite a bit, and if I had to pick one bike to keep forever, it would probably be this bike just because of the sentimental value. This is really the bike that, the first bike that really got me into cycling that I really enjoyed. So love this bike. The next bike, this is my 2013 full steel Kona Row. When I got this bike, I wasn't actually in the market for another bike. I walked into some bike shop in Kansas City and they had this bike. It was new old stock, like 2 or 3 years old stock, so I got a really good deal on it. I figured if I wanted to do some light touring, this was a great bike for that, and kind of just a backup road bike. Little did I know that this was really one of the first dedicated gravel bikes. It's got clearance for like, I think up to 42C tires. It's got the disc brakes. When it came out, Kona was one of the first brands besides Salsa to kind of dub a gravel bike. I met my buddy Dustin on a road ride one day and he's like, "You ride gravel?" I was like, "No, never ridden gravel, but I have a gravel bike that I commute on and use for like some mini bike packing trips." And so this is really the bike that got me introduced into gravel. But yeah, love this bike, can pretty much do it all. So mountain biking, if you're here for the gravel content, I appreciate it, but if you're not into mountain biking, consider getting a mountain bike. I started on a hardtail, just a 29er that I built up, bought the frame and built it up, just to see if I liked mountain biking. I did like it, so I sold that bike and I bought a 2018 YT Jeffsy AL Comp. YT is a consumer direct brand, so I actually picked this bike up off the YT website at a really great price for the build I got. It's a full suspension 29er. It's got a pike fork. It's got RockShox RT rear suspension. It's got hydraulic disc brakes, 1x drivetrain, dropper post. This is really the bike to get me more into mountain biking and get me doing some things that I wouldn't attempt on a hardtail. I'm now doing bigger drops, nothing massive yet, but drops that I wouldn't have attempted on the hardtail. And it's just been great for building my confidence. I've ridden the bike in some awesome places. I took it out west last summer, rode out in Moab and then parts of Colorado. Plan on doing an epic trip this summer on this bike. So the bike's been a ton of fun. Without further ado, the bike that you see in the gravel race videos, this is my 2018 Specialized Diverge Comp. This is the only carbon bike I own. Absolutely love this bike. If I could change one thing about this bike, it may be the drivetrain. Not sure how I feel about the Shimano 105 on gravel. May go to a 1x drivetrain in the future. This bike is fully stock with the exception of the wheels. I have upgraded the wheel set. I've got the Mavic All-Road Elite wheels on there. Bike's got the Future Shock. It's got hydraulic disc brakes. It's just a ton of freaking fun. I've done dirty Kansas on this bike. I've done a Land Run 100 on this bike. It's the bike that I take when I want to ride gravel and I want to ride gravel fast. I actually picked this bike up off Pink Bike. If you've never used Pink Bike, it's basically a massive Craigslist with everything bike related. Most of the stuff is used and you can get it at a great price. Got it from a guy in San Diego. It was basically brand new. He bought it, wanted to try gravel, couldn't get into gravel, and I picked it up at a great price. So far, it's been a great bike and I absolutely love it. And last but not least, this is my 2017 Trek Stache 7. I picked up this bike a few months ago off Craigslist, got a super good deal on it. I wasn't necessarily in the market for a new mid-fat bike, but I was in the market for a mid-fat bike if I could get it at the right price, and that I did. Unfortunately, I have only ridden it a few times on the trails. I've done a couple snow rides on this bike. My thought process for needing this bike was, well, I want to get more into mountain biking. If the YT is ever out of commission, I've now got a backup trail bike to ride. The bike takes wide tires. It's a mid-fat bike. These are 3.0s on here right now. It's got a 1x11 drivetrain with hydraulic disc brakes. I've upgraded the handlebars. These were takeoffs off my YT when I upgraded the bars on that bike. I got a shorter stem and a dropper post on this bike. So I have done a few things to kind of modify it. It's been a ton of fun and I can't wait to get out more on this thing in the spring. So guys, I wanna know right now in the comments, how many bikes do you own and what do you use them for? How many bikes is too many? I own these 5 and I can honestly say they all serve a different purpose and I ride all of them and I have an absolute blast on all of them. So comment below. And guys, remember, if you have not already done so for some reason, hit that subscribe button, like, share, all that good stuff, and have a good one.